Hey everyone, Marco, thanks for the introduction. That part for Sofia was right. The other part was like meh. But anyway, so listen, I really want to talk about building SaaS with WordPress. Keep in mind that it's going to be fairly general talk because we have only 25 minutes or so, and I also want to cover different things like partially technology, some business, some marketing, and things like that from my experience doing SaaS stuff with WordPress. Few words about me before we start. I'm the CEO of Devrix. It's a distributed WordPress development agency. I've done some stuff with other platforms and languages such as Java, PHP, Python, and others. So I've built several software as a service solutions and consulted a few as well. One of these has about 150,000 subsites right now, and it's fairly successful. You can find me on No Fear Inc. on Twitter with underscores, and I'm really an open source addict and also a coffeeer. So you can find me at coffee shops, hanging out with my notebook and doing some stuff. So the first thing that I'd like to really explain is what is SaaS. And I really love the explanation from Wikipedia that I've pasted here, and I'd like to focus on a few notes that they actually made on their Wikipedia page. So software as a service is a software licensing and delivery model. Software is licensed on a subscription basis and is centrally hosted. What does it mean? It means that the software that we're actually building is something that we have on our own servers, and we lend it on a subscription basis to our customers. That's the main idea. That's why it's sometimes referred as on-demand software. If someone needs it, they can subscribe for a month or 3 or a year, or a one-time fee that actually allows them to use our software. So a few more things. What sort of application does it have? Things like messaging software, payroll processing software, CAD, development software, gamification, virtualization, CRM, ERP, and a lot of other things are actually implemented as SaaS. Two more things I'd like to mention on this slide. One of the biggest selling points for these companies that are using SaaS model is the potential to reduce IT support costs by outsourcing hardware and software maintenance to the support of SaaS provider. What does it mean? If you're developers or business owners who would like to build a SaaS, it means that you're going to reduce the costs of hardware and software maintenance to your customers. For example, if you build a, say, invoicing software, it means that they don't have to build their own invoicing software, they don't have to purchase some expensive invoicing software, then integrate it, then make sure that the infrastructure is in place, the networking is working, and everything like that. The hardware and all sort of stuff. They just really need a simple, browser to access it. It might be through their mobile phone or from whatever. And the last note here is, in 2010, software as a service sales reached $10 billion. And then we have another number, projection in 2015 reach a projected $21.3 billion. So what I'm saying is that if you're not used to building software as a service solutions yet, and if you're wondering what should be your next, startup venture or development project or some other idea, think about software as a service. What sort of applications do we have for software as a service? WordPress platform management, updates, installations, backups, all sort of stuff, like Managed AOP, who are sponsoring the event here. Anyone from Managed AOP here? Yay, a lot of folks. So that's one of the possible solutions for software as a service. Then we have restaurant's website platform, which is Happy Tables. Like you can order an entire restaurant website with menus, with connections to some other APIs and platforms. Book publishing solution. If you wrote a book, you don't want to go to publisher, just bring your book to them and then like have discussions, go to different places. There's an online software as a service called Pressbooks that does that. Real estate website package like Playster, game publishing platform. You can actually make games on a WordPress-based platform called Gamefruit. Apparently WordPresscom with its verticals, not sure how many of you know that, but WordPress.com actually has verticals for things like hotels.wordpress.com or whatever was the URL. They have wedding websites, they have music band websites, and they have a specific set of plugins for each of these websites. So they say, for instance, for bands, we offer like calendars, events, an ability to upload your album so that people can listen it through your website. And it's like one click install, you have the website, you have the widgets, so you can set up your own website, right? With context-specific things for your niche, like weddings, hotels, restaurants, or music. So one thing about the plugin developers here, or people who are using plugins, is the difference between the plugin and the software as a service model. So that's a diagram of different software, architecture solutions. The first one is pretty much packaged software, which is like, let's say, a plugin. So you need to deal with the networking whenever you host it, storage, servers, virtualization, operating system. For each of your clients, you need to deal with that numbers. You need to deal with middleware, with runtime, data applications, which is actually your plugins, and the entire environment. Then you have some other options where someone else is dealing like with networking, storage, servers, and virtualization, which might be if you buy Amazon Cloud or something like that, and you deal with everything else. Or you can have a managed hosting provider that does most of the things and you only deal with applications and data. And then we go with the software as a service solution, where the vendor, which is like you, if you're providing the software as a service, deals with everything and provides the easiest possible way for the clients to access this data. Again, the reason that we have things like WordPress.com in the first place is that some people find installing WordPress a complicated process. Even if we have the famous 5-minute install, it's actually complicated for them. They have to deal with hostings, they have to deal with emails, with domains, with how to set up all that stuff, how to actually upload something new, like what's FTP. Like, you all know that, but actually most people don't know that, and they're like, I have no idea. Like, what's that FTP? Not to mention SSH at all, right? I mean, that's totally a crazy word. So what I'm saying is that actually a lot of people find these things complicated, and they just want a single button, a single click to be able to set up something and use it. And especially if they have something that they're traveling a lot, they are, somewhere unable to bring their laptop just with their smartphone. They want an easy, mobile, accessible way to access their data that's distributed everywhere, that's shared, that's on a cloud, and everyone is able to access this data, of course, with their permission, so that you don't do all this email sending, postal stuff, DHL sending packages with some stupid invoice, for example. Right? So that's the reason why software as a service as an idea exists in the first place. And I'm going to give an example with 2 solutions that are popular right now. The previous session actually focused on the WordPress REST API, and one of the examples was AppPresser as something that allows you to, build mobile applications with WordPress, so to speak. So there are 2 popular solutions now, which are AppPresser and Reactor, that allow you to create a mobile version of your website. So AppPresser is the plugin, Reactor is the software as a service. So what's the benefit of Reactor? For instance, it has push notifications and stats. Why? Because it has a centralized server that allows you to store all of this information somewhere away and allows you to actually do the push notifications. There's offline mode, again, because if your server is down, if your website is down, you don't have an offline mode. If there's a third-party service that's actually dealing with it, you have offline mode. You have native features because of the framework that they're using and other things. Now, you have some limits. You have some constraints. For instance, AppPresser, being a WordPress plugin, allows you to build custom plugins code, right? To deal with shortcode rendering. It's pretty much a standard WordPress website. So that's what we have here. That's the example of WordPress.com versus WordPress.org. WordPress.com is easy to set up. It's really easy for people who don't understand and who don't want to deal with any problems. Like, for example, WordPress.com, you might say, hey, but you don't have, a specific domain name on WordPress.com. Wrong. You can buy a domain name connected to a WordPress.com hosting, and you actually solve those problems. I was actually interviewed last week by a small business magazine in the States, and they actually said, okay, but all I need for my blog is just to have a custom domain name, right? I said, well, okay, you can buy one on WordPress.com. And I said, well, you cannot really install separate plugins and themes and everything. I said, okay, I just want a blog. I just want to write articles. I want them to be indexable in Google. I want them to be under my name and my domain. That's all I need. So sometimes people don't need that much complexity or that much extra features that you might need. So let's jump into some questions now. Should we do single site or multi-site? And It's really interesting concept. I'm going to mention something about multi-site in a bit, but you really need to answer a few questions for yourself. Like, what's your business model? What would you like to accomplish? What's your main product niche? What's the product going to do? How does your product scale? Like, imagine if you want to have a successful product or a software as a service, how is it going to scale? Is it by the number of customers? Is every customer paying by a number of books that he's published? Is it some other model? What parameters should be growing intensively during the scaling process? Like, for instance, if you're selling websites, is any of the websites going to post, 10 million articles? Because that might be a problem for your scalability. Or is it you allow for everyone to sign up, so you might get, 70 million websites like Wordpresscom does, So you need to think about these parameters. What would be the main performance bottlenecks? Because sometimes one site can bring down the entire server, right? I mean, especially with the wrong code base. How can you handle roles and capabilities? Also important. And how can you leverage your server stack? So with your solution, your server solution that you pick, what are the positive sides of this solution and what are the negative sides? What could go wrong? Is your business model in conflict with your idea? For instance, someone says, hey, HHVM is super fast, but your software solution relies on some library that's not supported by HHVM. So what? You're going to remove the essential feature of your product so that you're on a fast server? No, I doubt that. Some of the benefits of the multi-site version is that it has a distributed database structure. So having said that, each subsite of a multi-site network allows you to have a separate set of tables, like the post table, the post meta table, the terms and taxonomies tables. They're all separate for each multi-site. So imagine if you had one single install and you allow people to create their own websites, and each website has 1,000 posts, and you have 1,000 sites. If you're using only a single site, you're going to have 1,000 users, 1,000 posts each, which is 1 million records in one database table, right? Because that's 1,000 by 1,000. But if you have a multi-site, you're going to have 1,000 different sets of tables with 1,000 posts in each table, right? It's a bit easier to manage. It's a bit lighter. It's a bit easier for the database to handle. But it has some other issues related to caching for example, the memcache size pool or Redux or whatever you use. So again, technically wise, you need to decide. You don't have to jump into some conclusions like, hey, single site is the best, or multi-site is the best, or I'm going to have like 20 billion database tables. You need to decide what's important for your business model and then pick the right infrastructure or architecture for it. They also have separate environments for each subsite, right? You can change the theme in a multi-site for each subsite. You can activate different sets of plugins. You can make them a little bit different with different users as well. You have per site permissions and global administrations, and you have domain mapping capabilities, which is what I mentioned for WordPress.com right now. You might have a subdomain or subdomain or subdirectory multi-site, but you can also map custom domains to that network. So that's another way to solve your solutions. So if we need to start building some SaaS, let's go through the very quick SaaS building guide. Like, first thing you need to do with the hosting. Again, based on your needs, based on how your product works, based on your competitive advantages, and based on your scaling model, you need to decide what should you start with. And there are the two different models. The first one is the vertical scaling, which is this one here. So you might jump on a server that allows for scaling and increasing the resources within the same cloud. Or you might go for horizontal scaling, which is this one, just adding additional servers and load balancers to deal with those servers. You need to start thinking about that sooner, because sometimes the migration might be really complicated and you really need an easy way out. When you start your product, you need to be ready to scale instead of just falling into some performance issues, kicking out your clients because they're unhappy that your product isn't scaling. Or migrating some data, there's data missing, servers are down, DNS records are refreshed, and things like that. So you really need to be careful about that. Then we have the WordPress installation, which is fairly straightforward, installing multi-site if needed, standard setup, picking a theme. And the main thing is build the main business logic for your software as a service. So either build custom plugin or plugins that actually do the unique part for your business logic, or use a combination of plugins and integrate your solution with them. Let me give you an example. We are building a CRM platform that's software as a service based, and what a CRM platform has. We have customers, companies, and projects. That's it. That's the main configuration. And customers have some custom fields, right? Because we need to store email, address, and stuff like that. But what if users actually need additional custom fields for that customer, right? They just want more custom fields. They want to store where did they meet, or if a customer is a mother or a father, the name of their child, or something like that, right? And I've been to a CRM conference, and they actually said, we allow you to actually create more custom fields. You know, like extra fields defined. And people were, oh, magic. That's like the top product on the market. And you know, you just go to your WordPress admin, oh, add custom field, click, done. So what I'm saying is that you don't have to really build something on your own that's completely custom. Sometimes it comes from WordPress. Sometimes you might integrate advanced custom fields or types or whatever you use in order to define these fields and just give it to the user. Okay, here's this plugin. You can activate it through your multi-site or the single site, and you can define any type of custom fields that you want, right? So think about this once again. Build the main business logic, make sure it works properly, and then see how this logic can be extended in a way that you save more time and yet your platform is stable and secure and everything else. So you can do a combination between other plugins that actually do that. So the technical toolkit, it's actually a continuous integration process, so to speak, but the short version is apparently we have the project and team management for the work. We have software development workflow. Then we have other, sub-projects. We do code development. We have issue tracking. That's totally mandatory. We use source control system. That's you just have to use source control system. Stop coding if you don't use source control system. That's it. So once you use source control system, you have code development, issue tracking. You do continuous builds. Don't wait for each release to like do 4 months and then you release. Another 4 months and then you release. Do continuous development, continuous build, continuous deployment, continuous integration. That's why the process is named like that. So we do the continuous integration. We have test automation. For each build, we check whether it's stable, whether it's not. Is there anything that there is a regression with our new code? How to fix it, how to solve it, how to make it compatible. A lot of unit testing, behavioral-driven testing, all sorts of testing that are available. And again, continuous deployment. That's the entire cycle. I don't know how many of you know that, but WordPress.com actually pushes every single version of the WordPress platform to WordPress.com. And I'm not talking about the major or minor versions. I'm talking about commits. Something is committed to WordPress, some parts, some fix, it automatically goes to WordPress.com, to a network that has like 70 or 80 millions of sites, and to the 8 largest websites in the States or something like that. Because they have that process, they can roll back changes easily, they can do the testing and they can see whether there are any regressions. They have the process streamlined so that they don't have to update their version every 3 months when WordPress is updated and spend another 3 months fixing issues from that, right? So that's what I'm talking about here. Then we have the membership management, because whatever we are talking about, we always have to have a paying model for our software as a service so that we can actually maintain it with time. I've linked an infographic from Chris Lema, which is the top WordPress membership plugins, as an example of some options for membership plugins that you can use, like MemberPress, WooCommerce. They have some other membership capabilities, Magic Members, Restrict Content Pro, Paid Membership Pro, and some others. You can view the infographics. I'm going to share the slides, and you can decide what's the best option for you. Like, if you have a single site, you might need some content to be restricted. You might need some users to have restricted capabilities. You might want to do some other restrictions, like a book cannot be, longer than 500 words for a free member, but can be longer than, 10,000 words for the lowest plan member. So you need to decide what your restrictions are, what's your free or cheap plan, and how does it grow, how does it scale. And then you need to find a solution to actually build a membership management platform that handles all of these restrictions in some sensible manner. Personally, for Multisite, I'm a fan of two solutions. The first one is Paid Memberships Pro. which I stumbled upon recently. It's totally awesome. It's 100% open source. It's really great. Everything is on GitHub, and they have some payment plans that allow you to customize it or host it with them and things like that. So it's pretty great. It allows for multi-site limitations, recurring payments, and a lot of other things. The other one is ProSites by WPMudev. That's paid, but it also allows for creating different subsites of a multi-site network, assign different plans. Like, for instance, everyone signs up, you assign a specific subsite in your network, and they have a different role, different membership level with different capabilities. For instance, the free member has only the basic plugins. The top paying member has access to all of the plugins and some other themes that you allow them to use. You know, it's just different sort of access for different sort of payment criteria. So do your due diligence and try to research what's the actual pricing model of your product before you go further. And then when you decide it, try to find a membership solution that actually serves your needs. It's stable enough, it's easy to use, and it allows you to customize your payment experience. So the pricing options, that might sound like logical to you, but there are a few options that I'd like to outline. The first one is one-time payments. You do have a product or a website, you say, we have lifetime payment. That's what they call it. Pay once, have it forever. There are other options like regular payments, like monthly, every 3 months, annual payment, or something like that. That's also another thing to consider. You have one-time offers and upsells, like you buy a specific plan and then you have, hey, you know what, like while you're in the sign-up area, we can offer you this specific upsell that would add this functionality to your software as a service. Keep in mind that this price is discounted only for now, right? If you click no thanks, you will no longer get the chance to buy this for that price. So that's another way to just upsell options. Like imagine Easy Digital Downloads or WooCommerce. Like they're free, they're for e-commerce, but like imagine a wizard that says install the basic plugin, then hey, you can add this add-on, pay this. Then you can add this add-on, then this another plugin, that extension, and so forth, so that people can actually buy add-ons while they're purchasing the additional module. You might have extended plans. That's something that's quite popular, like per user. In the CRM or invoicing example, that might be per user. How many users are actually going to access your specific system? It's going to be only you and your accountant, and sales manager, and marketing director, and your clients. So you can limit per user, per account, per number of views, and other things depending on what's applicable in your niche. You may have paid updates, like this version that we are offering here is going to be here for the first like 3 or 6 months. And then if you want to get the next version, you have to pay for updates. That's a common thing for plugins, but it's also sometimes happening for software as services. You may do paid or priority support. For instance, if you want your system to be, to have phone support from us, you need to pay that much a month. If you want for us to resolve your tickets in 2 hours, no matter when you're sending them, you need to pay that much. And you can also do consulting, like integration guides, how to use it more efficiently, how to improve your business by using this platform, how to use these two in order to bring more leads, and things like that. Again, depending on your actual pricing option. So as my pre-final slide, I've just added a few other ideas that are pretty random, but can also help you here. Like, first off, most people say that freemium is really, stupid because you can't earn money. But essentially, freemium might be a very good model. Some services say 30 days money back guarantee, which means that you need to pay, and if you don't like it, they'll, send you the money back. But it doesn't make sense, right? Because you can just give a free trial for a week or 2 so that it's incredibly easy for people to sign up. And if they like the service, they'll continue using it later because they would have invested enough time in that service. And if they like it, they would gladly pay for it, right? So freemium model might be pretty good because people get used to your product and they like it or not. And you know that the people who like it are going to buy additional extensions, plugins, or whatever. That easy sign-up process. Sign-up should be trivial. The more steps, the more people would quit. the more fields in the sign-up form, the more people would quit. The easier the sign-up, the better. That's why people sometimes use Twitter sign-up, LinkedIn sign-up, Facebook sign-up, Google Plus sign-up, because it's like one click button, boom, you already have the registration. And then people can try it and decide whether they want to use it. I've seen some sign-up forms that are like, you know, it's like filling in your IRS declaration for the taxes at the end of the year. I mean, they're just ridiculous. They're like 5 pages of 10 input fields each. I'm just not going to sign up for this product. It's going to take me 15 minutes to sign up the list. And I don't even know if I want to use it, right? So the easier it is, the better. Plenty of payment options. For instance, personally, I do like PayPal in terms of payment because it's easy for me to pay with PayPal. And PayPal also allows for people to enter their credit card details, right? I mean, it's not a great product. They have a lot of issues, like especially security and stuff, but it's super easy to actually get paid. And if your users tend to use PayPal or Stripe or something else, and if you don't provide this payment option, then they're probably not going to sign up because they need to find their wallet, find their credit card, find their details, type them in, save them, and they're probably not sure where these details are actually stored. Like, we were doing an Australian project and they actually told us, you know, we want the credit card details to be sent to us because the legislation here says that we actually need to store the credit card details and pay on behalf of our customers. And I was like, I'm not sure if that's true, but if that's true, that means that if I'm paying to Australia, everyone has my credit card details. And that's by law. That's crazy. But anyway, find out your customer acquisition cost. How much does it cost for you to acquire a new customer? And lifetime value. How much will an average customer pay for your products over time while they're customers? That's pretty important. You can adjust your pricing structure depending on that. Brand awareness. Distribute your brand everywhere. If people see something, it would be easier for them to sign up the second time, or just recognize you, or just don't put your email to spam if you send them an email. So brand awareness is important. Pricing plans should be right. Lots of people do like free, light, professional, enterprise something. Well, some customers don't understand this. They want to see, for example, basic, freelancer, agency, studio. And then they know, okay, I'm a studio. Probably this part is more adjusted and accustomed to my needs. Or I'm a freelancer, I don't need the big studio plan. So that's where my niche is. People get confused pretty fast. And if they get confused, it's likely that they're going to leave the site. Do customer research, do case studies, get testimonials for your users, read more about growth hacking, which is a really smart way to not invest any money and get a lot of customers for free or for a very low fee. Think about affiliate and referral programs, and also consider cheap versus enterprise sales. Your product might be high quantity and low cost, or only a few software as a service customers, but at a really high monthly fee. So consider that. There are different options, and think where you stand here. And my last thing is consider joint ventures and different affiliate networks. There are forums and networks like Warrior Forums, ClickBank, JVZoo, DealGuardian, Zaxa that allow you to penetrate a specific market by offering your services at a discounted fee and meeting potential marketers and affiliate specialists who would promote your service in order to get that fee. For example, on internet marketing with 100,000 email subscribers, you may offer him, look, I'm going to give you like 30, 40, 50% of my sales if you sell that to your customers. They send an email, out of 100,000 people, 1,000 buy your product. You paid for, I don't know, 20 bucks or 50 bucks or 100 bucks. They take half of this money and you take the other half. You haven't done nothing. They send the email, they prepared the copy, they did everything, and you got customers, in exchange for some commission fee. I'm going to share my slides later since we don't have that much time, but there's a sample business model canvas. You might write that plan of your own that includes your key partners. Who would you need to partner with? Potential people who you can do partnership with, barter services and things like that. Key activities and resources, value propositions, customer relationships, how do you interact with your customers and channels, customer segments, your cost structure, what sort of cost do you have, and your revenue streams. If you fill in that form for yourself, you're going to know who should you partner with, what's your value proposition, revenue streams, what should you target, where should you spend your time best, and what should you focus on. Once you have the focus, everything else would be on track.